you can write yes in the chat box. All right, so now I think we can start. So my name is Ashutosh. I'm a maths faculty over here with HNR, and today now we are going to discuss about the SAT. Previously, we discussed about the IELTS. I believe all of you have joined the previous webinar, which we have conducted about the IELTS. In this webinar, we are going to discuss today about the SAT. So firstly, I'll be telling you about the SAT maths part, then Jyoti ma'am will be again coming and she will be telling you about the SAT verbal part. Okay. Now you all know that we at HNR provide all the help in the test prep to admission process. So firstly, I'm going to start with the SAT only. What exactly is the SAT test and why it is required, why it is important. Firstly, SAT is a standard test for the US. For the UG admissions, particularly in the USA, if it is kind of mandatory, and for the different countries, for different universities, there are different requirements. So if you are looking for the bachelor program, if you are planning to go abroad after 12th, even in India now, there are certain universities and colleges, they are accepting the SAT scores. So it is a kind of one standard test that is going to help you in so many different universities and colleges admissions. Okay. If we talk about the examination fee, the international examination fee is around $103. So in India, you have to pay $103. Along with that, there will be some taxes maybe. It will be conducted 7 times in a year. So it's in the March, then in the May, in June, August, October, and November. Now, ahead of us, we have August, then we have October, we have November, and then we have December also that we can target if anyone is looking for the SAT test this year only. Okay. Now there is no cap on the number of attempts on the SAT. So let's say if I'm going for the first attempt and I'm not able to get the dream score that I'm having, or I'm not able to get the score that is required for the admission. So there's no cap on that. Like you can go only for 1 time or 2 times. You can go for multiple times. But trust me, if you are prepared well, if you are going with the certain strategy, if you are preparing and understanding all the topics and the pattern, I don't think you will need to go for more than 1 times, but in case if it is needed, there's no cap on the number of attempts. Okay. SAT is going to be, it's digital completely now after 2023. So you have to take the test on a device, which could be a computer or, it could be a laptop or a tablet. You will be carrying your own device for the SAT test. In case if you don't have a device, you can borrow a device from the college board. Okay, they'll be able to provide you a device. For that, you have to pay a few amount. Okay. Next module for each section will be depending on, so it's a kind of adaptive test. It means the next module will be depending on your performance in the previous test. We'll be talking about the number of modules and sections in the next slide. But it is a kind of adaptive test which adapts your strengths and weaknesses in the first module, and based on that, you'll be getting the next module in both maths and verbal part. Okay. Calculator is allowed in the both modules of the math section. So you can carry your own physical calculator. Along with that, you'll be also getting one on-screen calculator for the SAT test. Okay, that will be inbuilt in the SAT math section. Okay, what kind of calculator is it? How exactly it is looking, and what are the functions that is available there in that calculator? That we'll be discussing in the coming slides. So if we talk about the importance and relevance of the SAT, it is going to kind of give you understanding about your strengths and weaknesses. It gives a kind of understanding to the colleges and as well about the different skill sets that students are having. So it tests on the different parameters in the English and the maths part. Okay. If we talk about the major universities accepting SAT scores, so you can see some universities in India like Flame University, ZD Goenka, Soka Universities, Manarasna, OP Jindal. If we talk about the international universities, you have the Harvard University, you have Yale universities, you have Georgia. So there are so many other universities you have in India, even abroad. Okay. Now, if we talk about the exam pattern that we have for the SAT, so you can see there are 2 subjects only now. Now, there's no essay section in the SAT. So in this city, there's no essay section. You don't have to worry about the essay part now. It was there in the pen and paper model, but now it is not available. Okay. So you only have to worry about the two things. One is the reading and writing, which is the English part, and other is the maths. Okay. Reading and writing both are combined. So in each module of the English section, in each module of the verbal section, you'll be getting the reading and writing both questions. Okay. About this, obviously, Jyoti ma'am will be telling you in detail what exactly are the kind of questions and the topics that we have to understand. Next, if we talk about the maths part, so in maths, again, you have two modules, model 1 and model 2, in which you'll be getting 22 questions, where two questions are kind of pre-test questions, but not scored, so only 20 questions will be scored. But yes, you have to answer 22 questions because you don't know which two questions will be not scored. They are the pre-test question, and that will be there in each of the modules, okay? The allotted time for that is 35 minutes for each module, and the score that you'll be getting for same is 200 to 800, okay? 200 to 800 is reading and writing, 200 to 800 in the maths also. So overall score is 1600. If we talk about the maths topics, firstly we have word of algebra, where we discuss about the equations, inequalities, absolute value, then roots, exponents, different kind of linear equation and quadratic equation, one variable, two variables, right? So all those are the part of word of algebra. When we talk about problem solving and data analysis, we have the topics in arithmetic such as percentage, ratios, rates. Along with that, in data analysis, we have the stats, probability, and some charts or table-based questions. Okay, that we'll be getting in the problem solving and data analysis part. If we talk about the next one, which is passport to advanced maths, so there will be a bit of higher level questions from the advanced maths, which could be based on the functions. That could be even a normal function or advanced function like quadratic functions, radical functions, linear functions, nonlinear functions. So there are different type of functions and the equations that could be a bit of advanced level. If you are in class 9th and 10th, you might find this a bit difficult, or a bit harder in terms of because you have not seen those kind of questions in your academic exams. But trust me, those are not the difficult questions. If you understand the strategy, even if you're in the class 8th or 9th, it will be not difficult for you to attempt the questions. Next one is the geometry and trigonometry. So the questions which are based on the 2D geometry or 3D geometry or trigonometry that will be coming in this particular section. Okay. If we talk about the weightage of the sections or the topics that we have, so word of algebra and advanced maths are highly weighted in the SAT. So you'll be getting around 65 to 70% questions from there only. Okay. These are the questions you'll be getting from the geometry and trigonometry and problem solving in the data analysis part. If we talk about the use of calculator in the SAT, as I said, you can carry your own calculator. That obviously you have to do because you are familiar with the calculator. You have a physical calculator, which is more handy and you can use it wisely whenever it is required. Along with that, you will be also getting the on-screen calculator, which will be visible to you. And in that, you can even do the graphing part. You can do the simple calculation. You can find out the solutions of any equation directly also. Okay, we will discuss about that in the class, like how effectively we use the calculator and how to solve the question without even using a pen. You can simply go to the calculator part and you can solve a question. Okay. Most of the graphing and all scientific calculators are allowed in the SAT, so you don't have to worry that if I'm going to a scenario and I'm finding a calculator, whether it is allowed or not, it will be allowed. Only one thing that you have to look at that the keyboard, which is QWERTY, this keypad, if this is the keypad available on the calculator, that will be not allowed because this kind of devices can access the internet. You can look at the laptop or in any kind of device you are using right now. If you have the keypad, that keypad will be QWERTY, this format only. Okay, so because this kind of devices can access the internet. Okay. The on-screen calculator that I was talking about, this is how it will look like. You can write any equation on the left side. You'll be getting a graph in the XY plane that is there. Also, along with that, you have the different functions, as you can see, trigonometric functions, inverse figure functions, stats, and so there are so many other functions available in this. Okay. During the class, we'll be discussing about all those different functions and everything. Okay. So if you'll be having any questions, that you find difficult while solving with the pen and paper, you can directly put that in the calculator and you can solve it easily in the very less time. Okay. We can talk about those questions later on in the class. Now we'll move forward to the next part, the sample questions which we will be getting in the SAT. So there are two types of questions we get in the SAT. One is kind of MCQ questions, other is the SPR questions. MCQ is multiple choice questions. which is like you have one question, you have 4 options given. So you solve the question and then you get the answer. You select one of the correct answer. In SPR question, you have to solve. There's no option given. You have to find your own answer. Once you find the answer, you have to write your answer over here, and here you'll be getting the answer preview that whatever I'm writing in that box, whether it is correct, what exactly I wanted to show there or not. Okay. So for that, there's answer preview given. You can look at answer preview and you can verify whether your answers are in the same format as you are looking for or not. Okay. Now, if we talk about the percentage of questions that we'll be getting from the MCQ and the SPR, so there will be around 75% questions from the MCQ, there will be around 25% questions from the SPR, the student response, where you have to write your own answer. There is no option given, as you can see on the right side of the question. Okay, so these are the 2 types of questions that you are getting. Next thing which is important in the math section is the reference sheet. Okay, this is a kind of sheet where you will be getting all the formulas which are required for the geometry part, like whether it is 2D geometry or 3D geometry. But still, I don't recommend students to rely completely on the reference sheet. It's always better that you remember the formulas by your own, so that you don't need to open the reference sheet all the time, during the test. And then because it will be some sort of time taking, if you are doing some sort of operational work in the test. Okay, so you don't have to go through that. But in case if you are not able to remember, or if you are not able to recognize the formula, then in that case, you can open and take the reference from the reference sheet, and you can use that in the test. So these are the kind of questions, the informations which are required for you to know before you appear for SAT test. Okay. If you have any question from there, you can write that in the Q&A. I'll be moving forward towards some questions. Okay. I'll take your questions at the last once we are done with this. So I'll just discuss one of the questions that how exactly we do the questions in the SAT and what kind of questions will be asked. So basically, I wanted to show you that what kind of questions will be asked in the SAT and how do we have to solve them. Sometimes obviously we'll be understanding how to solve the question with the actual process and actual topic and actual methods that we have learned during that particular topic. But those questions can also be answered sometimes even without applying all the methods and the process that is involved in the particular topic. Okay, so I have one question on the screen. I am allowing a few minutes for this question to answer. If any of you would like to answer the question, I'm giving you a minute. You can try and write your answer in the Q&A. Firstly, because it's a long question, you should read the question carefully. Okay. This is the topic which is not the kind of topic that you'll be getting in the higher classes. It's a question from time and distance, time and work. So that is the kind of topic that you understand even in the class 8. Okay. So I don't think there'll be any person here in this session who has not studied the topic of time and distance and the rates. Okay. So you can just try solving the question and you can answer if you are done with it. Okay, you can just write your answer in the Q&A. Even you can make a guess if you want. You can just make a guess. I just want to see, whether you are able to get the right guess or not. Okay, so it's not important that you solve the question completely, but you can even use the elimination part or try to write the answers based on the elimination. Okay, I got the answer now. Okay, so now I think we can discuss the question. See, since I did not taught you this, I did not teach you this particular topic in the class. You have not in any of the class. So obviously, I do not expect you to answer the question based on the topic, and obviously, I'm not using any particular method of solving the question from the topic of time and distance or any formula. So what exactly I want to understand here, and I want you to understand basically here, is how do we eliminate the options in case if we are not able to answer? Okay. So firstly, I'll read the question. It's given A boss left his home to purchase some stationary item on his bike, riding at the speed of 20 miles per hour. So he is going on 20 miles per hour. What did he break down of his bike? He put it in the garage for service there only, and then returned home walking at the speed of 5 miles per hour. So you have the two speeds given. One, for the same distance, he is going with the 20 miles per hour, and he is returning with the 5 miles per hour. Now, the question is, if he's taking total of 4 hours in the whole journey while going and then coming, then find out the time for which he was walking, right? Now, the question is, if he's walking for the, if he is walking and riding the bike whole for the 4 hours, do you think only walking will be taking more than 4 hours? The answer is obviously no. That means the C and D are not possible answers. So we can just eliminate them. Okay. Now we have the two options remaining. One is 1.2 hours, other is 3.2 hours. If he'll be walking for 3.2 hours, he'll be riding the bike for 4 minus 3.2, that is 0.8 hours. If he'll be riding bike for the 1.2 hours, if he's walking for the 1.2 hours, he will be there for 2.8 hours doing the cycling or going by the bike, riding the bike. Now tell me one thing, if someone is walking the same distance and if someone is riding a bike on the same distance, in which he'll be taking more time, during the walking for the same distance or while riding the bike for the same distance? So it's very understood that if someone is walking or riding the same distance, walking with the lesser speed, which is 5 miles per hour, riding with a higher speed, which is 20 miles per hour, obviously he'll be taking more time during the walking only. Means this one is not possible again, so that will be eliminated. And then only one option remaining, that is 3.2 hours. Right? So we have not used any of the formula which is required for the for the time and distance questions, but we have answered this question based on the process of elimination. So this is one of the method of solving the question in SAT where you're not able to answer the question with the normal method, you are stuck there. Then you can try eliminating some of the options, and from the remaining option, you may choose one of the correct answers. Okay. So I hope you understood how exactly we are trying to use that particular strategy. Another strategy we have here is observation. So in this question, you have a graph given, which is given as y is equal to fx, because this question is about function, and I believe some of the students are there from the class 9th and 10th also here. They might have not done the functions and all in the class till now. So I'll be not asking you to solve this particular question, but I'll just tell you how exactly we do the questions based on the observation, even if we are not solving using any particular formula or the method. Okay. So the question is saying the figure above shows the graph of a quadratic function f with a minimum point at 1 and -2. So minimum point is 1 and -2, means here is the point 1, -2. If you have a basic idea about the xy plane, you will understand this, right? Then it is given that if f5 is equal to fc, means f5 generally it represents the y, means the value of, if value of x is equal to 5, the value of y at that point will be known as f5. So value of x is equal to 5, the value of y here is f5. That means this value is equal to fc. So if I have to make sure that this value is equal to any other value on the graph, I can see it is intersecting at the other point here. Means this point is equal to fc. Fc means is the value of y where x is equal to c. So the question is asking what could be the value of c. It's simple. You just look at the point over here. The value of c is equal to -3. Right. So this question we are not solving with any formula or any calculator or anything. We are just using a kind of observation, and based on that only we are able to answer the question. Right. So these are the kind of strategy that we use while solving the questions in the SAT. Even if you are a student who has not done those topics till now, it is not difficult for you to understand the methods and the strategy that we are applying here in the SAT. Okay. So here are some key takeaways that we can understand for the SAT maths part. Remember to read the questions carefully, especially the final question, units, and important points. Okay. Because sometimes it happens that we have a question, we have the variable x over there in the question, we solve the equation and get the value of x, and directly we look at the answers and we just mark the answer which is equal to the value of x. But It is possible that the question is not asking you to find the value of x, but the question is asking you to find the value of 2x or x square or x plus 5 or something else, right? So always read the questions carefully, especially the final question, before you mark your answer. For practice, you can use the Dismiss Drafting Calculator. We will tell you that how to use this calculator during the class. Refer to the formula sheet to get important geometry formula, which is the reference sheet in the SAT. If you are running out of time, you can use a later and mark it as your answer for the remaining question. So there's no negative marking as such in the SAT, but yes, if you will get the questions wrong, obviously it will impact the kind of difficulty level you'll be getting in the next module. Okay, but yes, there is no negative marking, so you can just try to mark a guess. So this is all for the SAT maths part. Now you will be going through the SAT verbal part that will be taken care by the Jyoti ma'am. Jyoti ma'am, now you can start from here.
Thank you so much, Ashutosh sir. Okay. So now we have just gone through and understood what is SAT and how much it is important for your foreign universities, admission and everything. So let's learn what is the SAT verbal part to in the. Just give me a second. I'm not able to stick to screen. Okay, yeah, this is it. So SAT verbal is being divided into the 4 sections, and let's understand what are those 4 sections. The first one is your craft and structure section. In craft and structure, we do have 3 different types of questions. The first one is words in context, which is completely vocabulary based questions. There would be a 1 blank into the given statement, and you have to fill in that blank with the given answer choices. So for that, you really need to be very good in the vocabulary. The second one is text structure. That means you have to understand the structure of the text that is given to you. There would be an opinion based text by the author in which you have to understand and find out the statement which would be given as the multiple choice to you that supports the structure or that supports the text that is given to you. There would be the question based, what is the strengthening statement, what is the weakening statement. That means you have to weaken or strengthen the author's opinion over there. Now, the first one is cross-text connections. In the cross-text connection, we would be having 2 different texts. For example, one would be one by me and the other would be Ashutosh sir. And we have talked about SAT only, but he might be talking about the benefits of SAT for the scholarships. I am talking about the benefits of SAT as per the profile building, how much it is important. So there is a cross-text connection that however both are talking about the SAT but have a different opinions. So the questions would be based on the same pattern in which you have to find out if the author one agrees or disagrees. And in this case, you can see that we both agree that SAT is important, but our point of agreement is completely different. So this is called cross-text connections. The total number of questions as been explained to you earlier that there would be 27 questions into the one module, and in total we do have 52 questions. So out of those 52 questions, there would be 13 to 15 questions mixed up of these 3 different types. The second category that comes over here is information and ideas, whereas everything is based on the reading comprehensions. And the reading comprehension we have just learned in the IELTS as well, Abhi. And before that, you have seen it in the schools as well. But over here, it is completely different, and you have to completely forget what you have done in the reading comprehension of your school and SCT as well, and IELTS as well. Because over here, these reading passages are very small. That can be called as a small paragraph also. That would be of 50 words or 70 words only. And the questions are completely different. That they would ask you, what is the main idea? What is the role of this particular statement? What is the conclusion of the author? So basically, if you see in the craft and structure also, I've explained that you have to understand the whole passage. What is the opinion of the author over there? In the reading comprehension also. So basically, they are giving you the passages which are just of 50 words or maximum 80 words. And you have to understand that why the author has written this passage, what is the topic, and why, what is the reason of this topic, why SAT. So you have to understand that one passage, and on the basis of the information, you would be asked to choose the one correct answer out of the 4 given answer choices. The total number of this is 26%, which is 12 to 14 questions out of those 52 questions that we are getting. The last one is grammar based question, and thoroughly, and that you have to do a thorough learning of the grammar in this. And this is my super favorite part, because just like maths, you can get 100 out of 100 in this questions because there are fixed rules of grammar that you have to follow to do these type of questions. And when I'm saying the thorough study of grammar, we'll be taking you to the revision of your class 6 to your class 12. What are the nouns, subject, pronoun, and punctuations, and what is the right usage of it? When they say in the verbal part that this is the reading and writing, this is the writing part they were talking about. That how do you write? What is the right way to write a completely grammatically structured sentence? So this is what we are going to learn over there, whole grammar completely. And there would be 11 to 15 questions, which would weightage as the 26% of your whole exam. The last category is expression of ideas, and as they have given you only minimum number of questions into it and the minimum weightage, and the reason behind it is that they are the easiest questions of the whole SAT. The first category is rhetorical synthesis. I hope that you all understand what is the rhetorical means, that you have said it but you do not mean to get the answer. For example, I am asking you some questions over here, is it important to give, but I'm not expecting you to answer. That is called a rhetorical question or the statement. So over here, in the same way, you would be getting a question of which they are not expecting you to answer because the answer is already in the question. You have to just find the statement which says the same thing as given in the question. That are the rhetorical synthesis. The second one is transitions. So as the name suggested, transition means going one place to another place. So in the grammar as well, if you see that in so many sentences, we use but, however, and we just completely change our opinion into by using these words into the next sentence. In the same way, there are some sentences or connectors which says the same thing, moreover, fortunately, certainly, and then we have instead of, rather. These are the transitional words which change the or which help you to understand what would be the next sentence. So while you are preparing yourself with the SAT, you would be pro with the vocabulary, you would have all the knowledge of the grammar, you would have the word knowledge of the transitions. While you have trained yourself for the SAT, you would be really good in the grammar, structuring of the sentences, and you would be good at reading as well because we are doing the reading comprehensions as well. So this is the whole SAT structure that we are going to prepare you for. Now, this is one of the example questions, and I have seen that you all are not very much interested in doing all these questions. So let me just clear you that how we are going to do all these 32 in just 32 minutes, the 27 questions that we are going to get over there. So Loon Point is a 1920 poem in the poem which presents a nighttime scene on a body of water. So they have given us the hint. We'll find some keywords. Here is the keyword is nighttime. They are talking about the body of the water, and they are just talking about the presence, the aesthetics of the night. So we have to find out the statement which says the same thing, and let's use the same process of that has been told to you by Ashutosh sir, that sometimes we can find the answer. If we do not know the right answer, let's find wrong answers and eliminate them. And as the statement says, that it is talking about the nighttime and body of water. So let's easily eliminate B and C because we do not see moon over there and we do not see night over there. Now we are left with the options through the water, the moon writes her legends. So body of water, water. In a light on smooth wet sand, it is talking about the same thing. But the moon in her wayward beauty is ever and always the same. It is talking about the moon, but it is not talking about the body of water at all. So we would eliminate B, C, and D because they are not talking about the context that we have given in the question. That is the process that we can use in maths as well as in English. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. Okay. Now I've already given you the answer over here. So now I just want everybody, even if you do not want to answer, just understand why the word traditional would fit over there. What is the keyword that I'll see in the passage that would help me out in finding the right vocabulary word over there, even when we do not know the meaning of all the words. As an architect in Los Angeles in 1950, this firm became known for avoiding dash designs in her building. So we have got one negative word over there, avoiding that. Instead of using standard shapes and colors, she typically explored innovative forms and daring hues. So what he was avoiding, because he's so avoiding now something very good. So she typically explored innovative forms. So we really need to find out the opposite of innovative, because we already have a negative word over there. So that is why we would choose the word traditional over there, which is the opposite of innovative. That's why it was avoiding it. Okay. Now let's focus that what should we do in the SAT? What are the significant points that we can learn through this demo class, this webinar, that we can tell our parents that this is the one thing that I have got from the SAT webinar? The first thing is that focus should be on the question, because the passages would be of 50 words and 80 words. However, they are small passages, but you also have very small time, that is 32 minutes. We cannot imagine ourselves in focusing and understanding every word that is being given. Like I'm giving you the example that will focus on the night time only. I'm not focusing on the other parts. So focus on the question, what it is asking you, and then you can focus on some given keywords in the answer choices and the passages, and just match those keywords and you would get the right answer. The third one and the most useful process of getting the right answer is the elimination process. Sometimes, or I would say in the reading part, definitely it would be a lot of time, whereas you would be failed to understand what the question is saying, what the passage is saying. Just focus on the keywords and start eliminating which does not have the same keyword as the question. It would become very easy for you to do the and find the wrong answers if you cannot find the right answers over there. And as you have been already told that there is no negative marking. So even when you do not understand the ABCD of the passage and you are running out of the time, please choose any answer that comes to your mind when you see the word night time. Whatever comes to your mind, you choose the answer, because there is no negative marking. And maybe because we have seen the probability is very high, the two answer choices are completely easy, can be easily eliminated. So you would left with the two answer choices in which you have to find the right answer. So even when in a hurry you choose one, the probability is that you get the right answer in 50%. So that is why always made an educated guess, that is like not blindly choosing it, but having a slightest hint of getting the right answer over there. Okay. And in the SAT, for remaining part, you just use a letter and mark it as the answer for the remaining question. That means that you can choose it while you are running out of the time. Just focus on the grammar. Like I said, in the maths part, you can get the 100% questions correct over there because you know the rule and you can implement it. But in the reading passages and the cross-text connections, there could be a confusion. So you can just mark them and do it later. Okay, now these are the students that you can see have scored this much high in the SAT while we were training them. So you can have your name over here, you can have your picture over here in the wall where everybody can see that you were also a high scorer in SAT. Now, we were talking about the scholarship, that this helps you a lot into getting the scholarships when the fees are like in lakhs and crores. You can gift this thing to your parents and study hard and get the scholarship of 60%, even 100%. Okay, now we are done giving you the demo, and this is the time. If you have any question regarding the verbal part or the maths part or the whole SAT, if you have anything in your mind to understand about us as well, you can please ask us the questions now.
So again, I request the same thing. You can raise your hand if you have any question, and we'll be able to answer that. We'll be happy to answer that. Me and Jyoti ma'am both are here to answer your questions. You can just raise your hand. We'll allow you to talk, and then you can answer. Then you can ask. Okay. I don't think anyone is having any questions right now, or whether they are hesitating to ask the questions. I request again to all of you, if you have any questions related to the SAT, even from the previous webinar that we have done for the IELTS, just a few minutes back. So even about that, if you have any question, you can ask. Okay, Jyoti ma'am, so I think if there is no question, we can end the session here only. For those who are having any question, or if you are not able to ask a question over here, you have our contact numbers over here on the screen. So you can just note down, and you can call us to get your queries resolved. You can also send us an email if you are having any particular sort of question of the query, or if you want to know more about the SAT or any other